Now I am 3-4 years down the line. I want to set up my own hospital. How do I do it? May I call upon the stage the moderator for the next session, Dr. Shanisha and Dr. Shailesha. All successful hospitals are built on triad of good planning, good design.
Pawan. Yeah, Pawan.
Sorry.
No, no, no. Is so those who are coming out want to start the clinic. He has already got the degree. He wants to now start the hospital. Funny funding part is also done. So he wants to start the clinic as soon as possible. Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah, Pawan. He is going to talk about permissions needed. Please. You are given a permission. Start.
So all the successful hospitals are built on triad of good planning, good design and construction, and good administration. So we are talking about building, not the running the hospital. To be successful, hospital requires a great deal of preliminary study and planning. These are the few steps to start a new hospital. Research and planning into the location, type of hospital, budgeting, planning of infrastructure. You can take help of architect, expert in the hospital building, NABH consultants, acquire land, building plan approvals is through the local municipality authority, permission, various permissions and licenses are needed, infrastructure, then equipment, you need to get equipment, then staff recruitment and hospital accreditations. So among all these steps, I'll be speaking on permission needed to set up a hospital. Choosing the right location is the most important step, and the key considerations are place should be a quiet, prioritizing excellent connectivity, convenient access for the private vehicles, ample parking space, and nearby ancillary services like radiology, labs, and physicians for reference. The land needs to be converted from its current use to the commercial or hospital use. Approval obtained from the collector's office. Local lawyer takes care of the proceedings necessary for the land deed. There is a FSI or FAR floor area ratio which states maximum built up area on allowed plot. A hospital with FAR of 2 we would be able to build a structure twice the land area. There is a paid FSI. If you want to build one more floor, then we need to pay for that area. Building plan. If you are looking for future end management, then definitely take help of the NABH consultant while building only, and architect expert in the hospital planning. Electricity board needs to be intimated regarding the necessity of high tension transformer with the 3-phase connection. Document needed are land deed and plan, and there is an online portal e-Vidyut Seva through which we apply. So now you have bought the land, you want to start construction, for which we need to take a temporary metered electric connection from your electricity board. After completion of the building, we need to convert it into permanent metered electricity connection with the high tension transformer. Fire NOC signifies the hospital meets necessary fire safety standards and is safe for occupancy, especially during emergencies. The NOC is crucial for the patient safety, regulatory compliance, and may be required for hospital registration or accreditations. We need to apply to the local fire department and is done by related agencies. Building plan, ownership document, details of the fire safety equipments are required to submit. Fire department will conduct an inspection, emergency exits, alarms, and functioning of the equipment to verify the hospital's compliance with the fire safety standards. Third party certification, there are in few cities like Surat where local fire department will allot this certification to a third party. Ensure the lift installation complies with the all pre-installation requirements as per the Lifts and Escalator Act. Hospital owner need to submit application for a lift license to a designated authority. Here it's a electrical inspectorate of the chief electrical inspector to the government. But everything again it is done by the agencies. There will be inspection they'll carry out. Once you'll get the approval, you'll get the certificate to operate the lift, and validity of this license is up to 5 years, and again we need to renew this license. Biomedical waste. Healthcare facility must apply to State Pollution Board Control or Pollution Control Committee. They'll come for the inspection. Form 4, they'll authorize through a Form 4. Training programs on biomedical waste are mandatory, and certificate is valid for 5 years, after which again we need to renew it. For water and sewage treatment, we do not need to have a separate certificate. It is covered under BMW or building utility permission. So now we have the building and we want to use it. For that we need to have a building use permission. So it's a, for local authority, it's a commercial property and they want to make sure that it's a safe structure. So submit an application to a local municipal corporation. Local authority will review your building plan, including the architectural and structural details. Ensure they comply with the relevant building codes and regulations. And once the construction is complete, building complies with the approved plan, you will receive the building utility certificate. To apply for a building utility permission, you need to have a fire NOC, pollution control board NOC, high tension transformer approval from your electric board, and lift NOC. Again, it is done through an online portal. Better to take help of the experts. Pharmacy. To operate pharmacy within your hospital, you need to have a pharmacy license or drug license within your hospital. So we need to take this license from a drug controller. Minimum area required for pharmacy now is 180 to 200 square feet area. Ensure the pharmacist has a valid degree and it is registered with your state pharmacy council. After completing all these things, then there are the two major things like a shop act establishment act. We need to register in that. So this act is aimed to protect the rights of your employees, and it is done again through eNagar portal online registration. This act covers various aspects of employment, including working hours, rest intervals, overtime, weekly holidays, their casual leaves, sick leaves or earned leaves, maternity benefits, and record maintenance. The state government appoints inspector to ensure the compliance with the act. Non-compliance with the act can result in the penalties, including the monetary fines, imprisonment, and even potential closure or closure notices.
Pawan, 2 minutes to go, huh?
Yeah. Clinical Establishment Act. We need to apply for the Clinical Establishment Act registration. Online portals are there. Specific document needed are all of the above. Application form, address proof, registration, view, fire, everything. So key aspects here. First you will get the provisional registration and after that permanent registration. And clinic must comply with the relevant laws and regulation. And registered clinics are typically required to display their registration certificate and price list prominently. PCPNDT and Atomic Energy Regulator Board. PCPNDT you need to apply yourself. Like Beti Bachao, you need to apply through that portal. Company will not help here. Atomic Energy Regulatory Board certificate for the CM or X-ray usage is done by the company from whom you have purchased the equipment. For the lab, you need to have a certified pathologist, and only biomedical waste management certificate is sufficient to run the lab. For canteen, you need to have a food drugs control administration certificate, which comes under Health and Family Welfare Department of state government. So to summarize, these 10 certificates are needed, minimum 10 certificates. We can keep adding other like canteen and all certificates in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. We are very happy you finished before time. I think just to add your first point, what you said about the land location, I think probably everybody would agree it changes with due time. Somebody who has, if I talk about the Ahmedabad, somebody would have taken on Ashram Road. In 1 decade, the place will get changed. The city is getting developed. I'm sure. You never know, but anyway, you start in a reasonable area where you feel comfortable. So yeah, thank you, Pawan. Yes. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, do we now invite, now the most important, what all we are talking about, to buy a hospital, to buy an endoscope, or to live a good life. Everybody wants to move around and enjoy the life with family. At least you need something, and that is what we expect from him, the fund, money. I think we have one of the finest speakers, Pramod Rai. Please go ahead and have a talk.
नदियाद की पावन तट पे उपस्थित सभी जनों का हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन। किसी भी चीज के लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग जो है धन, लीगेट्स वाला धन नहीं, ओरिजिनल। हॉस्पिटल सेटअप के लिए कुछ कुछ क्रिटिकल एस्पेक्ट है। पैसा कहाँ से आएगा, फाइनेंस से जरूरी है। पहले सेटअप का भी क्या क्या हमको चाहिए, उसके बाद सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि धन का जुगाड़ कहाँ से किया जाए। इसलिए पैसा चाहिए हॉस्पिटल में। समय के साथ हॉस्पिटल सेटअप अगर टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट, जैसे ही बात हो रही थोड़ी देर पहले की, एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट लिए तब तक दूसरा इंस्ट्रूमेंट आ गया, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा इंस्ट्रूमेंट आ गया, तो पैसा डे बाई डे हमको चाहिए। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का भी जरूरत बढ़ते जाता है। जैसे जैसे लीगल फॉर्मेलिटीज बढ़ेंगी, आपके हॉस्पिटल का डिमांड बढ़ेगा, पेशेंट्स लोड बढ़ेंगे, तो फिर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के नए टैलेंट, नए नए रोबोटिक सर्जन आ रहे हैं, नए नए क्रिटिकल एडवांसमेंट ले लेके लोग आ रहे हैं, तो उनको ज्यादा पैसे देके आपको एक्वायर करना पड़ेगा और ऑपरेशनल विजिटेशन के लिए पैसा लगेगा। कहाँ से फंड अपन ले सकते हैं? सबसे इजी, सबके दिमाग में आता है बैंक से पैसा लेना, सबसे इजी। बट उससे अच्छा क्या है, इक्विटी पार्टनरशिप। अभी संजय बाबू इक्विटी ला रहे हैं। फिलैंथ्रोपी, अभी खाना खा रहे हैं तो वहां पर लिस्ट ऑफ डोनर्स लगे हुए थे। छोटे छोटे डोनर्स भी हैं और बड़े बड़े रोबोट्स देने वाले भी डोनर्स हैं। तो फिलैंथ्रोपी इम्पोर्टेंट, सब खूब लोग देने को तैयार है। बस अब तो आपको कन्विंस करना, कोई वाट डोनेट करता अपने मदर के नाम पे, फादर के नाम पे, कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स डोनेट करने को तैयार है। बहुत सारी चीजें आप म्यूजियम कन्विंस करिए, पैसा लीजिए। और ये पैसा ऐसा है कि लौटाना भी नहीं है, न लोन का इंटरेस्ट देना है, न लोन करना है। तो बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस है, इसको हमेशा एक्सप्लोर करना चाहिए। किसी सिटी में है, बहुत सारे डोनर्स अवेलेबल है, ओनली थिंग कि उनको क्रिएट करके निकालना है। गवर्नमेंट के ग्रांट्स बहुत होते हैं, लोग बॉस बताएंगे पूछिएगा, कितने गवर्नमेंट से फंड्स निकल पड़े होते हैं, यूज ही नहीं होते हैं, जो कि हॉस्पिटल्स को देने के लिए पड़े हुए हैं। सो मेनी फंड्स, कोई नहीं लेता। 1 रुपए स्क्वायर फीट में भी लैंड मिल रही है छत्तीसगढ़ में हॉस्पिटल खोलने की, फिर भी कोई नहीं ले रहा। पैसा मार्केट से निकालना, जैसे अभी थोड़ी देर पहले एक टॉक में आ रहा था कि 10 ईयर आप प्रैक्टिस करिए, उसके बाद अपना हॉस्पिटल डालें। 10 साल तक भी एक लेआउट देंगे, 50,000 अगर सेव करके आप रखते हैं, चुपचाप छोड़ते हैं, तो आपके पास कॉर्पस जाता है। इसके बेस पे आप 10 टाइम्स 20 टाइम्स लोन कर लीजिए। इस पैसे से भी आप, जो आपका पैसा आपने मार्केट में लगाया, उसको भी निकालना नहीं है। आजकल भी अवेलेबल 10 मिनट्स लोन अवेलेबल है, अबाउट 70-80% इस पैसे का आप लोन ले सकते हैं। दैट इज ओनली ऑन 8%। आपका पैसा ग्रो होते रहेगा, प्लस ये आप लोन भी उसी पैसे से अर्न कर उसको चुकाते रहेंगे, तो कैपिटल भी बढ़ेगा, पैसा भी आपका आपके पास रहेगा। ऐसे ही अगर सिंपल कैलकुलेटर है कि अगर आप लोन लेते हैं 5 लाख का, 5 और इतना ही पैसा लोन लेना बेहतर है, उस पैसे को लगाना बेहतर। इसको डिमोन्स्ट्रेट करने के लिए 2 ग्राफ। अगर सपोज करिए आपको गाड़ी खरीदनी है, लोन पे लेना बेहतर है कि अपने पैसे से लेना बेहतर है? लोन पे मैक्सिमम। क्यों?
इंटरेस्ट बाद मिलेगा, ना एक्सपेंस में नहीं मिल जाएगा ना, एक्सपेंस में बाद मिलेगा।
इसी में भी लोन लेना बेहतर है। एग्जाम्पल के लिए ब्लू सर्कल देखिए, क्योंकि जो आप लोन लेते हैं उसके जो आप पैसे चुकाते हैं, इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड पे। सेम मनी अगर 50 लाख रुपए को आप लोन में कन्वर्ट करते हैं और सेम पैसा इन्वेस्ट करना छोड़ते हैं, ब्लू सर आपका इंटरेस्ट है। आप ज्यादा मार्क वही पैसा अगर छोड़ते हैं 10 साल बाद आप 2 करोड़ निकालते हैं और पे कितना कर रहा है 19 लाख। कोई भी चीज हॉस्पिटल खरीदना हो, घर खरीदना, सीमेंट खरीदना हो, एडीसी कुछ भी, टोटल लोन 100% लोन के लिए आज के दिन सारी चीजें 100% लोन के लिए अपना एक पैसा नहीं लगा। क्यों होगा? और
नहीं, take a insurance.
EMI
Insurance, yeah.
इंश्योर,
होम इंश्योरेंस भी लेना, इंश्योर कर लो।
ऑल इंश्योर, टेक इंश्योरेंस फॉर योर होम, हार्डली टू 1%, हार्डली 1%। If you take 50 lakhs this year, you will spend 10,000 for a year,
Yes, yes.
for 50 lakhs. Traditional funds, government bonds ले सकते हैं, बैंक लोन, credit from either friends, banks or other lenders. लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है पैसा बहुत लोग आता है, मैं अपने सर्टिफिकेट देखा हूँ, पैसे लोन ले लेते हैं, वो पैसा समझते हैं मेरा पैसा हो गया और उसको फिर लिवरेज लेके खर्च करते हैं जहां मन किया उतना, फिर वो डूब जाते हैं। स्ट्रेटेजी पार्टनरशिप बनाइए, ज्वाइंट वेंचरशिप बनाइए, उसमें क्या शेयर ओनरशिप जरूर रहेगा। क्लिनिकल कोलैबोरेशन ले सकते हैं, बहुत सारे आज के डेट में सेटअप्स है जो कि आपके हॉस्पिटल से कोलैबोरेट करने के लिए लैब्स कोलैबोरेट किया, फार्मेसी कोलैबोरेट कर लेती है, कोलैबोरेशन हो जाता है, ज्वाइंट कोलैबोरेशन हो जाती है। तो जितना मिनिमम आपके जेब से लगे उतना अच्छा
Last 2 minutes to go.
सो लॉक योर सपोर्ट, इंडिविजुअल डोनर ले सकते हैं, फाउंडेशन से ले, कॉर्पोरेट से ले सकते हैं, गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट से ले सकते हैं, टेकअवेज। इवैल्यूएट योर ऑप्शंस, जैसे गैप कितना, इक्विटी कितना, फिलैंथ्रोपी कितना आ सकता है, कौन सा मॉडल आपके लिए सस्टेन कर सकता है, एंड इंश्योर योर कंप्लायंस की फैमिली आप कैसे कर सकते हैं उसको।
हम तो यहाँ पे सब ऐसा एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि आप लोन के बगैर कैसे पैसे ले सकते हैं ये बताओगे। See, you are the one of the finest investor. Just give 1 minute tip because you are before time.
Where to invest and how to really grow money, so they all should be comfortable. 1 minute.
आपसे आपको महंगा भी जाएगा सर, आपको इससे सस्ता तो मार्केट से
प्रमोद,
मैं अभी बोलूंगा 10 ईयर टाइम के बाद अगर प्रैक्टिस शुरू करना है, स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग ड्यूरिंग योर इमेज टाइम से स्टार्ट इन्वेस्ट करिए। 10 साल डाउन द लाइन आपके पास इतना पैसा होगा कि आपको बॉदर नहीं करना है। 10 ईयर्स इज मोर देन एनफ। आपके पास एक
कहाँ इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं? Where do you suggest? चलो, all the newcomers, आज से 10 साल लोग इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. Where do you suggest? And
इक्विटी,
equity, is it stock mutual fund?
बहुत सारी इक्वल
ठीक.
And SIP kind of a thing?
SIP।
Okay, very
So before you finish, I have a question. आपने खुद ने अपना हॉस्पिटल बनाया है, क्यों? तो अभी आप एडवाइस दे रहे हो कि लोन लेके हॉस्पिटल बनाओ।
हॉस्पिटल बनाने के एडवाइस में जो हॉस्पिटल बनाना चाहते हैं
So you आपने बना ली, आप IPO
एक छोटा सा डिस्क्लोजर सर, इतना हॉस्पिटल का
Yes. But he's wise man, not making it.
सिंपल डिस्क्लोजर, आप कोई भी हॉस्पिटल इतना प्रॉफिटेबल बनाओगे सर, 50% ज्यादा मार्जिन का काम नहीं करेंगे, इतना भी आप उससे कम अंतिम माल प्रैक्टिस नहीं करेंगे, 40% 30% माल प्रैक्टिस लौटते हैं छिपा हुआ नहीं और 30% नहीं है सर। सिंपल आप लास्ट 10 साल का डाटा उठाइए, मैक्स ले लीजिए, अपोलो ले लीजिए, नारायणा ले लीजिए, मैं सबका इन्वेस्टर हूँ।
So he'll be knowing the result much
कोई ऐसा हॉस्पिटल का स्टॉक नहीं है जो 40% 50% ROI से कम दिया लास्ट 10 years, कोई भी नहीं है। मैक्स 20% दिया है। जो सबसे कम देने वाला नारायण को 40-45% दिया। क्यों हॉस्पिटल खोले सर? बोले एनेस्थेटिस्ट नहीं है, वो नहीं है, BMW का लाइसेंस कराइए तो फायर वाला आएगा, फिर वो इंडिमेटी का बात करने के लिए आ जाएगा कि हमको टेस्ट करेंगे। बैठे बैठे 40 ऑफर नहीं मिल रहा।
Exactly. That is. But that he is not sharing. अब सबमिट सर आप इनको अलग टॉपिक दीजिए नेक्स्ट टाइम कि भाई क्या एक्चुअल करना चाहिए प्रैक्टिस
No, he has given an open link to all the fellow colleagues that if you really want to invest the way he wants, he will do it absolutely free. Yeah, kudos to that, absolutely free. If you give him lump sum,
how and when.
he will give you very big now. There are people who take money to give you tips now.
I know. No, we know how and when. Yes. ठीक है.
Rohit, he cannot run PMJY without. It's everybody's investment. He will handle. Then what he will do?
You can own a whole PMJY, right? Anyway, thank you very much for the talk. Can we go for the next talk? Loans to choose. Ashish Chajar. Yeah.
Wonderful talk of Pramod Rai sir, which interested the front benchers. Now I have something for the back benchers, the new urologists who are just out of the colleges and just trying to set up a hospital. So I'll just share you some tips based on my small knowledge of loans, how you should get loans for your hospital. So the basic premise for getting a loan is that your time on this earth is more valuable than money. And a new setup has lot of needs, land, CM, lasers, everything, and roughly it costs around 40 to 45 lakh rupees for a new urologist just passed out. Similarly, for new gadgets, the list is endless. You can spend easily around 75 to 1 crore. So you have to get a loan. Initial part you have to get a loan because you don't have that much fund and you cannot wait for 10-15 years to get that much amount of fund and then you start the hospital. So to always start, you take a loan. So what is the eligibility criteria? All of us fulfill this criteria. Any doctor, MBBS degree, what. Secondly, the documents, they are also quite simplified nowadays. They just 10-minute process. They can easily give the loans. There are some specific advantages for doctor loan or so-called doctor loan, which is actually a personal loan. So these loans are given at a very competitive interest rate, and there is actually not major collateral or degree is your collateral. Then the tenure is flexible. They offer you from 1 to 8 years, and they can be. It requires usually very minimal documentation and they are collateral free. So these things you should look before. What interest rate has been offered to you? What is the turnaround time? Like how fast they are giving the loans? Some loans are, actually most of the loans are based on a credit score. If you have a higher credit score, you will not only get a loan very easily, but also at a lesser interest rates. Also check the processing fees and if any collaterals are required. So if you look at the types of loans for a hospital or for a new urologist who is just passed out, it broadly falls into 3 categories. The first category is actually a business or a personal loan. You will get the highlights of all this. It is based on your qualification and on your CIBIL score. Collaterals are usually none and the interest rate varies from 10 to 14%. And approximately 5 to 10 processing fees they are charged and it is very fast. But disadvantage is the higher interest rate and pre-closure is conditional. The second loan which you can think about as a urologist passing out after a few years of practice is a cash credit or a overflow type of limit in which your funds are only placed in the banks and against that you draw some amount of money.
and the interest rates are very nominal, like it is 0.5 to 1% based above the whatever interest you are giving to the bank. So you lose that interest, but in additional you get 1 more percent of additionally you have to pay. But then the advantage here is that it is very fast and you only pay the amount which you have used and you don't pay more than that. And the third is loan against security. I think Pramod Rai sir has already covered. There are a lot of options. You should build your assets, get mutual funds, golds, whatever it is. So the available loans, commercially available loans are lot. All are offering around 10 to 11%. Across all these are the, now every bank practically has a doctor loans. It is bank का favorite बकरा रहता है doctor. So everybody they will offer and they will give you loans. SBI will give you, IDBI will give you, SBI, Bank of Maharashtra. Everybody has a special product named as a doctor loan. So how do you go about loaning at various stages? So in the initial practice, you should take a doctor loan. Why? Because you don't have much capital to invest, and whatever you are earning, you will be paying from that also. That only. So the initial part, you take a doctor loan. Interest rates are similar across all the banks. You can also avail a moratorium period or a repayment holidays. It is a type of arrangement in which first 6 months or say 1 year you don't have to pay interest. But ultimately that interest is going to get calculated once you start paying the EMI. So as your earning will grow, you increase the EMI and you do early repayments. This is for the early period, let's say first 2-3 years of your practice. Later on, once you have a good practice, you build your reserves, you create a good fixed deposit of your current account or bank account, whichever you are there, your funds will be coming, and you borrow very nominal, you borrow against that capital which you have already placed in the bank at very nominal rates. And you can also avail of FD or a cash credit arrangement, and you can only use amount which you have required, and then rest it will keep on earning interest for you. So eventually the target should be to close all these loans, or rather close this loan and take next practical loan. So these loans also have some disadvantages, like we just think about EMIs. We just think that I have to pay only 20,000 per month, but we don't realize that over 20 years you are paying actually 1.5 to 2 times the entire amount. So getting into loan is very easy, but getting out of loan is also equally important, because you have to finish that loan timely. That bank has given you 20 or 10 years, that doesn't mean that you should carry on 20 years. For home loans, it is slightly different, because home loans are very easy terms, but for business loans or practical or your other loan, you should be very quick to get out of that loan, because that will free your capital and you can invest in some new machines and you can get some other loans on that capital. So this is just an illustration like how much 1 crore loan at 10% interest rate cost you over 5, 10, 15 and 20 years. So at 5 years, you are going to pay 27 lakhs extra. At 10 years, you are going to pay 58 lakhs extra. At 15 years, you are going to pay 93 lakhs extra. And at 20 years, you are going to pay 1 crore 31 lakhs extra for a 1 crore loan. So I am not telling you don't buy a 1 crore loan, you don't get a 1 crore loan. You have to get it because initial capital everybody is short. But point here is that once you have that capital, you should immediately or devise a plan to repay that loan and get out of that loan.
Ashish, 2 minutes to go.
Yes, Raj, I am just about to finish. So getting a loan I already covered. So this was our small experience. We took a 11 lakh loans and we started out at paying a EMI of 17,000, and eventually we just closed the loan in 3 years. So instead of 4 lakhs 10,000, I just paid 1 lakh 68,000 over 3 years, and I can comfortably pay out this loan. For further loans, as I already said, you should take a FD and mutual funds and take this. So remember, keep your loans to the minimum. First thing, be very frugal. Don't take loans just because it is available. You have to use up all your reserves as much as possible, and only after that, because after that you should take a loan. Secure borrowing is always better than unsecured borrowing. Repay the loan as early as possible. Build up your assets and use them as a security and borrow at a cheaper rate. And strive for a debt-free hospital as soon as possible. Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah, any questions, please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. So good message. Don't come into that trap and be severe word. Yeah, please, Kapil. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a Mudra loan is also available for doctor.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, tell me. Okay. 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 That's good. Good. What amount do you get? Up to what amount? That's not a limit. It's a good thing.
So up to 5 years.
It's really good.
Is giving under Mudra.
So I think for all those who really wishes, and as Dr. Pramod Rai said, we should get a loan. I think this is one of the good place to go. And don't go to NBFC, what he has suggested. Yeah, Rohan. Good. That is what he suggested.
Thing to do, you just have to go to the Udyam ID. And it's a very easy process. It's a very
Rohan, can I share? Can you just put this message into a group? How to register for MSME? Everybody should get. Yeah, Rohit. Right, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All the CF know about it. Go to a CF, know about it, and you.
Well, hospital grant.
Please, Rohan, do a favor, kindly write down these 5 steps. It should benefit everybody. Please. So good one. Yeah, Rohit, both.
Yeah.
The last one, Rohit. Yeah, please.
One thing about MSME is that if you enter as an MSME, then you are entitled to get all the payments within the 1 month period. So if any party is going to pay you, they by 1 month, they will use that as an expense. So one more policy.
So overall MSME is good. Yeah.
About the loan which I want to sir, Ajit, one observation which Pramod Rai will also read.
Yeah.
See, if you are paying, for example, if you are taking a loan for 10 years, you want to pay in first 5 years. If you pay 7, 8 years, that is the time when actually the interest will become.
Yeah, sir, but actually a lot of people are not fortunate to
If
get
you
it.
have 1 crore loan and you have stretched it beyond 6 years,
Yeah, that is optional.
whatever capital you have, you use that capital and investment in different countries. Do not try to pay loan the second.
Yeah, that the EMI doesn't work like that. If EMI is 20,000, that doesn't mean that in first year it is principal is 10 and interest is 10. It's only 2,000 principal and 18,000 interest, and it goes down like this over the year.
Okay, Ashish, thank you very much. Can we go for the next talk? Renting, sharing a hospital, tips and tricks. Rupesh is there? Oh, yeah, perfect. I think Rohan and kindly share that messages in the group, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Wisdom and MPUH and Dr. Abhijit for inviting me for the talk. The topic given to me is renting the hospital or sharing the hospital, tips and tricks. Yeah. Suppose I am newly passed out urologist from the middle class family and I am living in Ahmedabad or any major corporate, Hyderabad, Delhi, whatever. So can I own my own hospital? It is quite difficult. So,
Yeah.
so let's see the expenses first. Purchase cost minimum single solo nursing home at least 2.5 to 3 CR, bare minimum. Instrument infrastructure cost 1 CR. So if I take loan itself is a trouble. When I am middle class family, I myself troubled because my 3 years that stipend was not sufficient enough to get me loan. So my father told me in that bank that because of his, I got loan for instrument. even when I start practice 10 years back. So loan for 3 to 4 crores is not easy to get. Plus, there are salary, staff salary, electricity bills, corporation tax, various agents fees, and initial 1000 days of your practice, not much income. At the same time, 5% increment you have to make in expenses every year because staff, some instrumentation costs, some ANC, everything. So you have to bear that. So can you afford to have 30 साल की उम्र हो गई, 25 साल की उम्र हो गई, 35 साल की वाइफ बोलेगी बेटा तू यूरोलॉजिस्ट क्यों बना, एक बाजू बच्चा हो गया, एक बाजू ये हो गया, करना क्या है, करना क्या चाहते हैं, इट इज बेटर टू गो टू सैलरी। वी फील सिंपल एज ए मिडिल क्लास फैमिली समटाइम कि ये करे क्या, जाए तो जाए कहाँ, डिग्री तो आ गई लेकिन क्या करेंगे आगे। So unless and until you are from Shahi Parivar with long-term legacy or sustainability, it is very difficult in a major corporate city right now. So either you have to do the job for 3 to 4 years and have some capital, or make a group of urologists or different multi-specialty partners where you can share the instrument and OT table. So hospital setup depends upon your type of practice, your place of the practice. Rural area, mostly no trouble, but in a metro city, definitely it's a trouble. So, if you are planning solo practice, maybe 2000 or 3000 square feet area is sufficient. In a group practice, either you some floor, you acquire some floor, or you build an hospital like that, multi-speciality partner and multi-speciality hospital. These are the options. And that you do either subspecialty work, if you are 4 urologists gathering in a major city, either Mayutna, cashless, everything you can have. So to rent a property, what you will look? You will look area, whether it is in the post area or newly developing area of the city. Newly developing area usually at the peripheral of the city. Building newly constructed or old building. Old building gives you more wear and tear, some leakage of water and colors, everything has to be trouble in old building. Ground floor, costlier. Top floor may not be favored. So first or second floor or in between floors. Location, at the crossroad it is good, but not at the back side. So these are the tips that you look for the newly constructed property, probably in the middle floor, front view, and any established area well illuminated. Sometimes junior feels that यारे 10 साल senior urologist पढ़ा है, 20 साल senior urologist पढ़ा है, इसके बाजू में कहाँ पे जाके बैठूं? But anesthetic told me सब गोल्ड, जो भी गोल्ड बेचते हैं सब लोग साथ में ही बैठते हैं, सब कपड़ा व्यापारी है, सब लोग साथ में बैठ गए। सो कि हाँ सीनियर के बाजू में ही बैठना है, क्यों सेल कॉर्पोरेट में भी 10% तो पेशेंट रहेंगे जो उससे दुखी हुए रहेंगे। सो इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट कि यू गो इन अ पेरिफेरी, यू हैव टू बी इन अ सेंटर। So one thing is that some prefer जो कोई सीनियर सर्जन ऑफ दैट सिटी इज मूविंग एंड दैट उसका हॉस्पिटल ले लेते उसके फुटफॉल मिलेगा। यूजुअली बड़े सेंटर्स में नाम अचीव करना ट्रबल है। सो इट्स नॉट ए गुड आइडिया कि ऑलरेडी एस्टेब्लिश्ड डॉक्टर है जिसका तुम सेटअप या रेंट पे ले लो। इट इज नॉट वेरी गुड आइडिया। सो दिस रेंटल इज एडवांटेज, relatively easy to start profession, less liability, and option of moving out. If your partner, you are not satisfied with your partner, they are sometimes non-reliable, anything can possible. 3 orthopedic surgeons, I have heard that 3 orthopedic surgeons starting, one has a 70% revenue, another 2 are 50-60% only revenue. So another 2% from the reception staff, they are breaking their practice. So there are n number of reasons to break the partnership. These are very troublesome later part. So group with whom you are sitting, it is quite important. So disadvantage of this, owner can order to vacate the place at any point of time. Once the practice established, to purchase the property from the same is very costly affair. The chance of breaking up group practice because you are on a rental basis only. Interior is always a burden. There will be no property gain. So expenses, how you built in a solo practice, that around 1 lakh rupees or 60,000, that will be your rental, building maintenance, 10,000, electricity bill, corporation tax, or in a solo practice, infrastructure like 50 lakhs around, urology equipment, basic urology I am talking maybe 20-25 lakhs. So initial cost around 1 CR, monthly expense 2.5 to 3 lakhs. Very difficult to manage, but at least you can manage by having My Yojana attachment at some place. where you can have a 30-35 cases, maybe you are generating 3 to 4 lakhs rupees per month. In your private practice, you do a consultancy income around 30 to maybe 1 or 2 patients per day initially.
Rupesh, 2 minutes to go.
Oh, it's short. So I will skip this. So in a solo practice, you are the king. Staff, you can have a control of staff, but have your own liability. In a group practice, either you make a 8 to 10,000 square feet area or rent a building. Rent will be different depending upon your area, infrastructure, instrument, all costs are banked. So after initial 2 to 3 CR cost, where you are 4 or 5 partners, so your individual cost will be less, running expense will be shared. So income, you can have large number of patients because you are a 4 partner, your cashless, you can have a consultancy income more, and all collaterals income, radiology, pathology, pharmacy, all your income will be plus. ICU is very great source, hospital income. All major corporates have a very good infrastructure for ICU. Group practice, there are always pros. You can have a expense divided, you can have a leave without interruption of your hospital activity. Equal partner income can continue even during your leave. But there are certain disadvantages. Loyalty and honesty is very precious to get. Difficult level of skill. Generosity is must, and wavelength of that also changes with the time. After 10 years, your partner will have a different thought process, you might have a different thought process. So group with a multidisciplinary partner probably safe to start, and good partnership formula is the key. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Very nice. So I think we are already running 30 minutes behind the time. We'd like to wind up and go for the next session. Thank you.
So thank you all the speakers and the moderators for the session.